Jr.
Boxing's my thing. That's the one I watch the most. But I do like watching Muay Thai. I like more Muay Thai than UFC.
Like the one events. I like watching all the ones.
I watch like Super Lek. And
I love that. All the Muay Thai now is all small glove though. Have you noticed that they don't do any big glove Muay Thai anymore?
That's I just like striking.
Me too.
I like watching
same.
striking. It's so cool to me.
I feel the same way.
Okay, we are finally ready to go.
All right.
Sorry, one more thing.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
I always end up being like super. I'm usually like very laid back and casual, but when it comes to this, I'm like.
Yeah, you want it to be just right. I totally get it.
Okay, cool. So, finally.
Here we go.
Okay, so I think what I'll do first, these questions are gonna mostly stick around your family and kind of like outside of fighting stuff. We'll touch on some fighting stuff, of course, too.
Yeah.
But I want to basically have some of this personal stuff in this setting, and then more of the fight stuff at the gym.
At the gym.
Yeah. So we'll kind of start off with just give me an intro of yourself. Just say your name and you're a fighter and kind of what you do.
Okay. Whenever?
Yeah, whenever.
My name is Hilarie Rose. I am 33 years old and I'm a professional MMA fighter.
Great. Perfect. And let's talk about what was it like growing up here with your parents? I want to hear a little bit about when you were a kid, like elementary school, what you were like, sports.
I would say growing up, I was definitely more of like a tomboy. I definitely loved sports. I played soccer, I played softball, basketball. I did all the sports you can possibly think of. I cheerleaded, I danced. I didn't thrive in those sports. Obviously, it was more of like a physical attribute type of sport. But it was good. I grew up in Norfolk, which was a very like low-key town, small town. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. The street that I lived on, I had all my best friends on the street, so we'd always play manhunt and spend time with each other on the weekends or ride quads and do all sorts of fun stuff. So very small town, but it was very like quaint and very community. And I grew up here with my mother, and then I would spend weekends with my dad. They were divorced as a kid, so I would see my dad here and there, but he came to all of my sporting events, and my mom came to all my sporting events. But yeah, it was fun, low key, small town girl playing sports.
It sounds like you like to be outside a lot, kind of like adventurous, playing outside, running around. Was it hard to get you to come inside for your parents?
Yeah, I'd say probably. I spent a lot of time outside. Yeah, I mean, even in like the winters, we snowboarded, we went sledding. I was always outside. I don't think I spent a lot of time inside. I wasn't like a big video game kid or anything like that. Growing up, we had a pool here, so we were always swimming. You know, the neighbors had trampolines, like I said, quads. So we were always outside. It was always like, you know, be home for dinner, you know, make sure you're here on time. But yeah, definitely a lot of time outside. I think once I got into like high school, that changed a little bit. I wasn't outside as much, just based on like, you know, school sports, things like that. I didn't really do high school sports. I didn't love high school sports. I didn't like thrive in that environment of being in school all day and then being there till like 7:30 and playing sports. So it's kind of when I got into martial arts.
Yeah. And so Tom told me a bit about how you started at USMMA with your mom.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that experience, like starting with your mom? How did that even come about, actually?
So when I was 14, I was, you know, a loudmouth attitude chick. I needed some sort of outlet. I stopped doing sports in general when I was in high school. So that was always my outlet. So like where my rage and all my like emotions went. And when I stopped doing that, I think just all my emotions went on to my mom. You know, I was like a typical 14-year-old kid who had an attitude, and she was like, yeah, I think it's time we like get you back into something. And so I always wanted to box. So she found USMMA, and we went there and we took classes together for, I think, like a 2-week or a few week trial or free classes. And I loved it immediately. And it was Muay Thai, which was new to me. I never really knew what Muay Thai was. I knew what like kickboxing was, but I didn't really understand what that sport was at the time. But yeah, I mean, I took like 2 weeks of classes there and was obsessed, and I literally haven't left since.
And how did your mom like the classes?
I think she liked it too. I don't think my mom, I think she loved it, and it was definitely a different type of workout for her, but I think she loved the fact that I loved it. And she was just trying to get me involved in something and keep me active, because that's the kind of thing I needed in my life at that time. So I think she liked it. I think she wouldn't maybe love it now, but.
Okay. So when you guys went to the classes, was it the same system that I know, like the pad work and stuff?
Yeah, it was the cardio Thai boxing class, which ironically I teach now. So we started in that class together, which was like a circuit-based class, where you hit bags and you move around with a partner. And at the time, Tom was holding pads in the center for everybody. So you would go and you'd hit pads with Tom, or you'd spar with some people in the middle, fighters who were there back then. So like years and years and years ago, all the people that I grew up with as fighters. And just like typical exercises like squats and sit-ups and bag work. My sister had actually come and taken a few classes as well. I think a year or so after I had been there. So it was funny to have them all come and try class.
And you guys were talking before about the mother-daughter jiu-jitsu class?
I think like 2 years ago I did a mother-daughter jiu-jitsu class, which we had like 25 plus people. And it was moms who came with their daughters of like all ages. We had some girls that were like 12, 15, 16. And then my mom and my sister came, who are not jiu-jitsu people whatsoever. My sister is very dancy-prancy. She was a cheerleader. She cheerleaded at the Pro Bowl. She was, a flyer. She was always good at dancing and cheerleading and gymnastics. So that's where we're like a little bit different, but she is definitely more competitive than me, just in general, towards anything. I'm very competitive. We're all competitive in this family, but she is, don't lose if you're on her team.
That's surprising. I was going to ask about how competitive you were as a kid. I'm surprised that you're not the most competitive one.
We balance each other out, but she is very competitive. Like I can remember even like traveling with her and playing beer pong, and I like missed, and she like punched me in the shoulder and was like, "You can't miss these shots." She's very competitive. Don't go bowling with her. Don't play darts or board games. If we play board games, we're always on the same team, because we know that we like to win. Like we want to win. So that's why we always team up. But yeah, she's very competitive when it comes to anything, whether that's, a sport or her job, anything. She wants to be the best at always. So it's something that, like, I guess as a younger sister, I always, tried to embody as her younger sister, because she was always that way.
That reminds me a little bit of something that I know the Nolan Bros.
Yeah,
boxing.
Yeah,
and they're twins. Mm-hmm. And I remember them saying at one point, like, and obviously they both boxed.
Yeah, right.
So I remember them saying at one point that they had to stop sparring each other, because it's just like too.
Yeah, they're fighting.
They're too close.
Yeah.
They're too like. It's too much. Like.
Yeah, I totally get it. And even teaching like the kids program, I see the kids who come in as siblings, and they're like, want to beat each other up, because they're like, oh, this is a place I can do that. And it's like, no. I always say, like, don't get your blood relative. I'm like, find a different partner in class, because they get competitive with each other. So.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your teaching.
Okay.
So how did you start? When did you start teaching? Like, how soon was it into your MMA career, and kind of how did the teaching come about? How did you realize you were ready to teach too?
I think it was just like a thing Tom slowly like put me into. I started teaching the kids program. I don't remember how old I was at the time when I did start teaching it, but once I started teaching the kids program, it was like kind of building being a teacher. Then slowly I would kind of like fill in, like if Tom last minute was like, oh, I can't teach class, I would fill in at that point, which helped me kind of grow as a teacher. And then I took over like a cardio Thai boxing class, which I still teach now. And then that slowly, inevitably turned into teaching a PADS class, and then jujitsu, and then now I've been running like the kids program for like over 10 years. So I've been teaching it for a while now and trying to build it. But yeah, it just kind of like fell into place. I don't even remember exactly when I started teaching. I think just Tom was like, do you want to start teaching the kids program? I think one of the teachers left or was moving, and they needed to like fill that spot. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to teach it. And I kind of just started there.
And did you immediately enjoy teaching? Was it just something, at first it sounds like it was like they asked you to do it, so you're like, sure.
Yeah.
But do you enjoy it now?
Oh, I love teaching, because just being a teacher and having someone like Tom, who's a teacher, he just is the definition of the best coach and instructor to learn from. I think, I've traveled to a lot of different gyms and I've seen a lot of instructors, and I think he just is so good at forcing you to understand why. A lot of teachers just teach. They don't give you the reason why something works or why you don't do this or that. And I think just I always wanted to be that type of instructor. And I think because I learned from him, that's how I teach. And I love teaching, especially when you're teaching and you've been working on something with people for a while and then you see them successfully do it. It's very it's like an internal, like, oh, nice. Like, I taught them that and now they're using what I taught them, and I see them, especially with like kids competing in like jiu-jitsu tournaments, or I have a young girl, Marley, who does Muay Thai events. So seeing her go succeed, or my kids do the stuff that I taught them, it's like really rewarding. And I'm sure Tom like feels the same way watching me teach or anyone else teach at the gym.
Yeah, and I notice now it's like it went from Tom to you, and now Emmeline's teaching.
Yeah, right.
So that must be really cool, because I'm sure she learned a lot from you. For
sure. And I mean, Emmeline is just like an overall good spirit. Like, she wants to learn. She's not someone who's gonna like, I think like even learning how to teach, when Tom would give me criticism or like constructive criticism, I'd like fight him a little on it, because I was thinking that he didn't think I was a good coach, but it's just him trying to obviously help me be better. And I think just being young and learning, at the time I took it personally, where now I want the criticism. I want him to tell me what I can do better. And I approach watching him teach differently too. And I think like Emmeline is someone who just wants to be good all around, and like she wants to learn and be better, and she wants to take in any knowledge that she can to be good at whatever she's doing. And that's easy for me as someone who's a coach, to teach her and give her, feedback, where I think like someone like me who's young, I was like, why do you think I'm not good at this? And he's like, no, that's not the case.
He's just trying to help you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He's just trying to help you get better than you were the day before.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
But in my mind, like when he would give me that feedback, I'm thinking it's like negativity, but really it was just him teaching me how to be a better teacher.
Yeah. I think both of you guys are great at like, you're both great at teaching and just like giving the information in a way that it doesn't feel like you guys are being negative.
Yeah,
like
right.
Insulting or like down, like.
Yeah, good feedback.
Yeah,
right feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always want to be able to like answer a question, and like I've said that to Tom before. I'm like, someone asked me this, and I didn't feel like I had a good enough answer, and they were like, "Well, always ask me, or ask me, and I can help you, and we can work through it, or think about it for the next week, and let them know like, oh, I'll come back and I'll give you this answer." He's like, if you can't answer it right then, like no big deal, like then just figure it out, and then let them know like, give me a few days, and like, well, let's talk about it so I can think about it. Which before I think I was like, oh no, they don't think I know what I'm talking about. And he's like, no, just say, let me like think about it and like give you the right information to be able to do it.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask about what do you think your family's experience is on the day of your fight? Like, what do you think it's like for them?
I think it's very high stress.
Sorry, can I have you just kind of repeat my question?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that my family, when it's fight day and how they feel, it probably varies, depending on, I think they're very confident in knowing that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be safe, but I think they know how much work I put into wanting to win and making weight and doing all the things leading up to it. I think they're always nervous. I don't think they think I'm going to get hurt in any sort of a way. I think that they want me to win, in the pressure of I put on myself to fight, I think they feel that pressure, and I think they're very nervous and anticipate, and I know they're nervous. I see them before, and they maybe have a few glasses of wine to settle themselves down before they get in there. But I'm assuming very, very nervous, but very positive because they know I'm well prepared. And that's one thing like Tom always said to my mom is I'd never let Hilarie fight if I didn't think she was well prepared to fight, and I would never put her in an unsafe situation or event if I didn't think that she could win. So I think all of them knowing that he thinks that makes them feel a little bit better.
Okay, great.
I think I said think like 50 times.
That's okay. That's why I have 2 cameras and I have the editing stuff.
And I caught myself like having I said think.
But no, you're doing great.
Okay.
You do great at talking to the camera and the media
good.
and stuff already. So, okay. Let me look at some of my questions a little bit. This could be something a little bit for the gym also, but
Okay.
we could definitely incorporate it.
Sure.
You teach yoga too, right? And you do a lot of yoga?
I do. I do a lot of yoga. I haven't in a while, but I am certified as a yoga teacher. I did 200-hour yoga teacher training through USMMA with Danielle and Jesse, who's another instructor who comes in. I haven't been teaching as much yoga at the gym, but I've been teaching chair yoga. Well, I just stopped teaching chair yoga, but I've been teaching chair yoga to seniors for 8-ish months, and I love it. The seniors are so great. They're so funny and hilarious, and they're good people. It's nice to get older people to move their bodies because they don't enough. But yeah, I love yoga. I've always loved yoga. I think training at the gym and having both of those things there is not something you see at most gyms. So the fact that we offer both, I think, is really, really great. And as I grew as a teacher in martial arts, I realized yoga was something that I wanted to learn and also become a teacher in. So I haven't taught yoga in a little bit. I sub sometimes, but I do love yoga and I love to practice it. I think it's really good for my mind because, I'm always at 100-mile pace. And then when I'm in there, I try to shut down and let my body get a little bit of rest, and the heat always feels good. So, yeah. Okay,
perfect. I got exactly what I was looking for with that.
Okay, good.
There's one question I've curiously want to know now, but I think I'm going to save it for tomorrow because it's more about fighting.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you now about your baking.
Okay.
So what's something that you like to do outside of fighting? Another hobby or something?
So outside of fighting, I like to bake. I grew up always baking. My mom and I always baked all the time. We took cake decorating classes and how to build cakes and how to decorate them really well. But that was something that I always loved to do. I grew up with this weird relationship with food, and I think that baking was something that I could kind of outlet that with, between training and then baking. I had this love-hate relationship with food, so being able to cook and bake something that I loved and then eat was just really nice, and it was something that I got to do with my mom. So I love to bake, and I wish I could still bake as often as I do, but I have a tiny little kitchen in my apartment, so I will bake at the gym, or I will bake here at my mom's house. But I love making cookies and banana breads and cheesecakes and all the things. So, and with the diet that I have, I don't always get to enjoy those things. So when I can't eat them, I love to.
Great. I think I'm gonna do. Let's go through that question just one more time.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to just move your phone real quick there? Yeah. Just make a little adjustment. Okay. Yeah, can you tell me about your hobby of baking just one more time?
Yeah, sure. When I'm not fighting, I like to bake. I like to spend time with my family and bake. It's something that I've always done growing up. My mom and I used to take cake baking classes together and how to build cakes and how to design cakes. And it's just something that we always did together as a family. We always baked. There's these cookies that my great aunt used to make. They're these like shortbread thumbprint like cookies that like every year around Christmas we always make together. I don't bake as often as I used to because I live in a tiny apartment with a tiny kitchen. So when I get the opportunity to bake here or bake at the gym, because they have a bigger kitchen, I always like to do that. But with a strict like diet, it varies. So when I get the opportunity to bake and kind of indulge, that's what I like to do.
Yeah. Can I, let's...
Sorry.
No. That was good.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I want to get like a separate thing of you kind of talking about you like to bake, but it's also something that it's hard to take part in. Like it's hard to like eat a lot of snacks and stuff when you're training and stuff.
Okay.
Just something more about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I still start with like baking, like I like to bake and this and
I
that?
think you can just start with like I don't always get to.
Okay. All right. I don't always get to bake or indulge in sweets, obviously, because I have a strict diet and I have to make weight. So when I do get the opportunity to bake and kind of, eat whatever I want, I want to make brownies and cookies, and spending that time with my mom when I do have the opportunity to eat what I want, I really value that time.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. That was great. And that's going to be great to have over our baking footage.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's going to be really good. Okay, one thing that I've been thinking about pushing this more towards is like, I would love to get more footage of Ariana and Emmeline and Ashley too, and kind of have like a little theme of like
Teen lady.
Yeah. Like women fighting in MMA.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if you feel like your experience as a woman fighting in MMA has made it any different for you from like
Their perspective?
From like, do you think it's been a different experience for you as compared to like a guy that's doing it or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely think my experience is probably different than a guy's. I mean, obviously, MMA is a male-dominated sport. So for years and years, you always heard like the women's fights are boring, so that when you watch any female that fights, they know they have to perform because they want to make sure that whatever fight they have, they're being remembered by. So you don't see that many boring female fights. And I think even when you go to like a local event or you watch the UFC, the women always like show up, and they always are sometimes the best fights on the card. And I mean, growing up, I only ever had men to train with. I didn't have women to train with. It wasn't until, in the last 5 or so years that I got the opportunity to have women to train with. I grew up just sparring and training with men who are bigger than me. So I think even my experience is different than Ashley and Ariana's experience because they have me, where I never had someone like me who could guide them and kind of give them the advice that I never really got. As a female, when it comes to cutting weight, and because my body's different, like women go through their hormones, their period, their body's so different when it comes to cutting weight. And I think even Matt and Tom as a coach, they want to give advice, but they don't 100% know how it feels as a woman. So I think being there and being like a guide and a mentor and a friend to them is like really valuable to me and important because I didn't have that experience, but now they get to experience that with me.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
good.
That's definitely going in.
Okay, good.
That's definitely going in. Yeah, that was perfect.
Good.
That's exact. I don't even need a follow-up question on that. I think I'll have you talk more about Ashley and Emmeline and Ariana at the gym.
Sure.
Talked about your sister. Okay. Let's talk about your dad a little bit. You talked about your mom. You talked about your sister.
Mm-hmm.
What is it like as a fighter? Your relationship with your dad. Like, what does he think of your fighting?
I think that he really enjoys that I fight. I think he obviously gets nervous, but he has more belief in me than anyone else. I mean, my mom obviously does too. They have the most belief in me than anybody. But my dad, I save multiple text messages from my dad when it's like fight night or leading up to fights, and he always just is constantly reassuring me that I'm working hard, and he'll text me random days like, you staying sharp, you staying strong. He always will ask me about my weight. He's always representing me in any way, like he wears USMMA or he's wearing me, he's repping Team Hilarie. Every night he texts me, love you pro, like he always calls me pro. That's like, in the last few years, that's what he does now. He like calls me pro. But I genuinely think he's so proud of me, and I think he loves watching me get in there because he knows I'm so disciplined and dedicated, and I've put my whole heart and soul into this. And I think he's just proud that I stuck with it when there were times when it was really, really hard and I had losses, and you mentally want to quit even though I want to keep going. Like, you have losses and it's tough. But he always reassured me to get back up and keep going, and that I'm sure as a dad, it's hard to watch your daughter go and fight. I think it's one thing if you have like a son and fight, but I've always been very athletic, and he's always supported every sport that I've done. So for him to always be at every fight, always show up, always reassure me that like, you're going to do it. And, he's proud of me. After every single fight, he'll text me, wow, what a fight. That was amazing. One of the events he snuck down, I won one of the fights. It was like before I fought for the title, and he like snuck his way down and like shook hands with veterans, and then somehow managed to get himself in the cage. Like, he wasn't allowed to be in there, but he found his way into the cage, and you can see me, Matt, and Tom turn, and there he is. And he like creeped his way into the cage because he in that moment was like, I need to get in the cage and I need to be there with my daughter. So I'll always remember that. I have a video of it. But yeah, he's the best.
I might need that video.
Yeah, I'll send you it. Oh yeah, I'll send it to you.
My next question was going to be, do you have any specific memories like with each of your family members? And you answered one for your dad, which is perfect.
I think definitely the biggest one is winning the belt. Again, my family comes to all my fights. They're always there. Like, my mom is supposed to be going to Florida, or was supposed to be going to Florida when my fight was. And she rescheduled her entire trip just to make sure that she was there to be at my fight. But I think winning the title and knowing, I think fighting at 105 and having to really discipline and dedicate myself to that. And then they were very nervous about me fighting at 105. I mean, it's very small. I mean, I'm a small person, but I think having to put that work in to make that weight makes them nervous too. But fighting for the title and winning the title, and then having them all come in the cage, and like seeing my mom and my sister, and those two people, including my dad, have always just been there every fight, always been a shoulder to cry on when I've lost. And that moment I will probably value more than any other. Just having them there and them knowing the ups and downs of like the journey of being a fighter, that one is definitely probably the closest to my heart.
Perfect. Okay. I'm going to cut because I think we're... Okay, great. I'm just going to have you count to 10 one more time just so I can test this mic.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, perfect. So, all right. Let's get started with, I'm just going to have you introduce yourself, just how Hilarie did. Your name, your Hilarie's mom.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ellie, Hilarie's mom, and I don't know what else to say.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I have been for 33 years.
Wait, let's try that actually. Let's try that. Just say, I'm Hilarie's mom, and I have been for 33 years.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm Hilarie's mom, and I have been for 33 years.
Good. What was Hilarie like growing up?
Hilarie was always unique. Hilarie had a very unique personality. She was very feisty. She was very independent, and she still is. I can recall when I was working, everybody knew Hilarie. All my kids came to the office, so everybody knew my children. But Hilarie seemed to stand out to them. And there were a few times when people would say to me, "How's Hilarie doing?" And I'd say, "Great." And I said, she really intimidated me because she would have kind of an attitude about her. There was one day I was away from my desk and a colleague from another office was sitting at my desk. Hilarie came in and put her little hands on her hips and said, "What are you doing at my mother's desk?" And the guy never forgot it. He said she was like 6 years old. But that was Hilarie. She just kind of had this little attitude about her. My neighbors were afraid of her because she went over to them and said to her, "Why don't you have any kids?" At 6 years old. Just straightforward, nothing was held back. And that was Hilarie. Always was Hilarie. Still
That's
the same way.
hilarious. That's hilarious. And where were you working at the time that she would come into the office?
I was the executive director for workforce development. So, excuse me, I ran career centers and unemployment offices. And so, because I was executive director, I took my kids to work. There was no daycare, and I let my staff do the same thing. If they didn't have anybody, just bring the kids in. So they knew everybody, and they had kind of free reign around the office, and that was just the environment I like to have when I ran something.
What was Hilarie? What was her experience in school like from your perspective? Like, did she like school? Did she have a lot of friends in school? Or did she hate the classes?
In elementary school, Hilarie loved elementary school. She had a ton of friends. Hilarie loved to sing. Actually, Hilarie has a beautiful voice. And sometimes I wish she had gone that road than the fighting road. But she would just get up and start singing. Even when she'd come into the office, she'd just start singing. And she had a lot of friends. And then, you get into and she played sports, she played everything. And then you get into junior high and things start getting cliquey and things change. But she always said a lot of friends. But the groups of friends that she had started changing when she started going to middle school, which I think is the same for all kids.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true.
Yeah.
At least I know middle school is where kids start worrying about being cool,
Yeah.
being popular, and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of a tough age.
Yeah, it is.
But you said so she played a lot of sports. Did she have a favorite sport before she started fighting?
She loved soccer. She was a great soccer player, goalie, and she would just go after everything. She would just, fly after that ball and scoot along the ground. She loved soccer. She got very bad at me because she was accepted into a soccer camp up in Maine. And at the time, I was a single parent, and it was quite expensive for her to go for the summer. And I told her, "I'm sorry, sweetie, I can't afford for you to go." And she said, "Well, I'm never going to play soccer again." And she never did. She said, "Nope, that was it." She couldn't go to the camp. She wasn't going to play soccer, and she stopped playing soccer. So I'm to blame for that, I guess.
Well, I think it kind of worked out because she found her real love, or real passion.
Yeah.
And that was also through you too, which is what I learned from talking to her.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about that experience going, like what made you, so were you the one that found USMMA? It
Yeah.
was your idea to be like, you know what, I'm going to take her to start fighting.
Well, no, that sounds terrible. That sounds like an abusive mother.
Just get in the ring, just start sparring.
I'm going to take her to start fighting. No, it wasn't quite like that.
Okay.
No, she was at that age where she was, not so much into, she'd quit her soccer because it would take her. And kind of that little acting out age. And I was like, all right, Hill, we got to do something here. You're not going to, this is not going to work. So I said, what would you really like to do? And she said, I'd really like to learn how to box. I said, all right, that sounds fine with me. So I looked around and I found USMMA. And we both went to a class. It was a 2-week class where you did the rounds and did the sparring and the the whole thing. Excuse me. And she loved it. She absolutely loved it. And again, being a single parent, it wasn't cheap, a monthly tuition. So I went to Tom. I didn't know Tom at all. And of course, Hilarie was like, no, you can't say anything. You can't do anything. And I said, nah. So I went to Tom. I said, she'd really like to go to these classes, but I can't afford the full tuition. He goes, not a problem. He said she can work off half of it. So I paid half and she worked off the other half. And Tom didn't have to do that. Just Tom, he's just such a lovely man. And now it's like he's another father to her. I mean, he's just been so great. And she just grew from getting into one thing and then moving on to another, and just her expertise grew, and she decided that MMA, she did grappling and the Muay Thai and all of that stuff, and decided that the MMA was what she really loved. So I thank Tom for that. I always will thank Tom for that.
Great. Yeah, Tom's the best. I
He's
love
the
Tom.
best.
Even if I moved, I moved to Holliston from Franklin with my girlfriend, and I was like, I can't move that far away from the gym. Like, that was like one of my main things. I was like, I'm not switching gyms again. So yeah, I definitely, Tom is the best, and Hilarie is now too. Like, both of them are great teachers, and I love going there.
She's an amazing teacher with the kids. I don't know if you've ever watched her, but she's just so good with them, and they listen to her, and if they start messing up, she said, go run back and forth. And the parents laugh. They think it's so funny the way she makes them do, like she's a little drill sergeant. But the kids adore her. They go to all of her fights. I know that the young man that passed away, Gavin, he meant so much to Hilarie, and it broke her heart, when he passed. He was just a sweet kid.
I don't think I haven't heard about that situation before, actually, but that was a while ago.
About 6 months ago.
Oh.
He had leukemia.
Oh, I do. Tom did tell me about this. Yeah.
So even on her shirt for the fight coming up, there's he loved the Bruins.
Yeah.
So on the back of her shirt, it's a Bruin logo with a big G for Gavin. He was, I think, he was just, he meant a real lot to her. He did, broke her heart.
I have seen her with the kids. She's great.
She's very good.
Yeah. I filmed a couple kids classes with her, and the kids were great too. Like it seems like a very fulfilling thing to. She loves it. Yeah,
she really does. And I've seen the kids, some of them like little Marley, what she teaches, you can see them doing, which I think says a lot about how Hilarie is teaching, because they remember and they use it when they're fighting.
Right. So going back to Hilarie when she was younger, did you, when she started MMA and boxing and fighting and stuff like that, the first couple times, did you think she was going to stick with it, or did you think it was going to be a phase, or?
I knew she was going to stick with it, that she was going to actually become a professional in it. Never really entered my mind. It was something I thought that she really enjoyed, she had a passion for, and that she was going to stick with it, and where it went from there, I wasn't really sure, but I knew she loved it. Yeah.
Do you remember, how did she tell you that she wanted to be a professional in it? Was that like a conversation you guys had? Or?
No, it just kind of morphed into, like I said, she started with the Muay Thai, and then she started doing the MMA as an amateur. And then I guess after so many fights as an amateur, you can decide whether you want to become a pro or not. And at that point she did. And that's when she moved into being a professional MMA fighter. She's always wanted to get into the UFC. That was her goal. And it doesn't mean, she can still do it. She still has time. So, we just see what will happen.
Great. Um, um, did you ever have a conversation with her, like, are you sure you want to do this? Were you like, once you realized she wanted to be a fighter, yeah, I guess I'm just wondering if you ever kind of like had a talk with her, like, are you sure about this? Do you really understand what this is going to take?
No, because I really didn't understand it, so I didn't feel like I was in a position to tell her, is this something you should do or not do? She knew so much more about it than me, and I feel like I'm there to support her in whatever her passion is, whether I like it or not. And, when people say, well, how can you let your daughter do that? It's like, this is her decision. This is her life. And if that's what she wants to do, then I'll be there to support her. And so, no, I never really had that discussion with her because I don't know enough about it to be intelligent enough to talk to her about why or why not she should do it. So that was her choice.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I just know, like, when I started boxing, my dad would say, like, little things like be careful, like, you don't want to get in there with the next Mike Tyson or something. Like, he would say stuff like that, but like, he at the same time he also knew, like, oh, this is what I wanted to do at the moment. So
Yeah.
he was definitely encouraging, but like, he would definitely say little things like that.
I mean, I have confidence in the way she fights and the style that she fights. I think Hilarie now is better than she has ever been. And I think maybe that was just building the confidence or getting out of your head. I know Tom used to say to me, she needs to get out of her head. And I think she's done that. And I think her last few fights have just been amazing. And you can see that she's the best that she's ever been right now.
For sure. I remember at the last fight, the one that I filmed, which I didn't get a chance to meet you guys then, but there was a moment where her opponent had her, I'm sure you remember, her opponent was on her back, had her on the ground, and it looked like she was going to get a choke or something. I don't know that much about the jiu-jitsu part of things, but she was on the ground and the whole crowd was for Hilarie. You could tell that from the beginning when they walked in and stuff. And I remember getting goosebumps when she got up because she was down and the crowd was like, get up, Hilarie, get up.
Yeah.
And then she got up and got the girl off her and the crowd went insane.
Yeah.
Like, I've just got goosebumps when I was filming it. And so I was just wondering, like, what moments like that feel like for you guys in the crowd?
Yeah, I mean, there's those moments when she's on the ground and my heart just stops and you don't know what's going to happen at any point. When she got out of that, it was quite amazing. And the strength trainer, the guy she's been going with, I think has been incredible. She got out of things so many times, and I think it was because of all of that strength that she's just got inside her now. And when she gets out like that, it's just, my heart starts beating again and I can breathe again. It's those intense moments on the ground or when she's, someone's beating at her and I'm covering my head. My daughter Alex, we hold each other's hand through the whole thing, and I don't know how we don't break each other's hands, but she's my little support system. Don't talk to us at the beginning, at the day of a fight. We'll snap your head off. We don't want to deal with anything. Our focus is on Hilarie. And so, yeah, the end. And so I think the big relief for me is that, 10-second countdown at the end. And she's ahead, and when that bell rings, such a relief. It's over. That last fight was really hard because that was 5-minute rounds, and that was 25 minutes of agony. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Even like,
That was a hard fight.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking of myself too, and I have obviously not known her as long as you have known her. And when she was on the ground, and I'm filming, I'm like, oh my god, like, because it's like you said, like you really never know what's gonna happen
No.
in any moment. So that's just like, it's like they're walking on a tightrope or
Yeah.
something. It's crazy.
It is. It is. And I think the worst, being there is great. Watching it on TV is actually worse because they show like a replay in slow motion and you see the head going, and I would prefer being there than watching it on TV. I think it's much harder. You know, it's too close. And at least when you're standing there, you don't see it's so fast, you don't really see it.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never thought about that before. Oh, I was gonna ask about when you're in. You kind of answered this for you and Alex, but the rest of your family, when you guys are at the fights, are they up and like yelling, or are they like? Is it more tense?
Her father moves away from everybody and kind of stands by himself. My brother, who's one of her biggest fans, I mean, he goes everywhere. Canada, Bangor, Maine, Florida, California, any of her fights, my brother goes. He's one of her biggest fans. And he's more of a yeller. Jerry also is probably more cheering on. Alex and I are more quiet in those intense moments, but then when we know everything's okay, then we get loud and boisterous. So, yeah, it depends.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Do you have a favorite fight of hers, or like a favorite moment of her career?
I think the fight that stands out to me was her very first fight as an amateur. And she kicked the girl in the neck. Girl went down, out, just out. And it was in, I think, a minute and a half or something. And I just remember that so clearly. And I'm screaming, you know, yes, Hilarie. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh my God, that other girl's mother is watching this girl on the mat, passed out. The ambulances came. And so I think that one stands out the most because I was very excited, but then I also felt really bad for the opponent's mother because I knew what she must be feeling, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So,
like,
and I think that fight was the fight that made Hilarie say, I really like this and I want to continue.
Yeah. And there's always those two sides to
Yeah.
a fight too, like the
Yeah.
the joy and then the
Oh
the
my goodness, I hope that
devastation.
girl's okay.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that so? That was her first amateur fight.
Mhm.
Was that the first time you saw her fight?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I have you kind of redo that? Say everything you just said, pretty much, and just start it off with the first time I saw Hilarie fight.
Okay.
And just kind of retell that story and just start off and let me know that that's the first time you saw her fight.
So the first time I saw Hilarie fight, I didn't know what to expect. I saw her do Muay Thai fights, but they were a little bit different. They were a lot different from the MMA fights. So her first amateur fight was in, I don't know, someplace in the South Shore. And I was very anxious, you know, pacing around, had to be there like an hour early just because I wanted to make sure I was there and didn't miss anything. And, you know, just don't talk to me, pretty much. So when the fight started, it was a pretty good fight. You know, everything was going fine. and then Hilarie did a kick to the girl's leg to her neck, and
Sorry, do you just want to start that from Hilarie kicked the girl's neck?
okay.
Yeah.
So Hilarie kicked the girl's neck, and the girl went down, boom, right on the mat. And at first, we didn't know if she was going to get up or whatever. And then the refs came over, what they are, come over and called it. And then, of course, Hilarie was so excited. It was her first fight and her first win, and it was amazing. It was a knockout, which you don't tend to get in your first fight. And so I'm all excited about Hilarie winning, and then I start feeling bad for the girl laying on the mat with the ambulances coming in, and the mother of the girl laying on the mat, because if I was in that situation, I'd be very upset. So it's kind of bittersweet. You like to see the win, but you also feel bad for the other parent.
Right. Okay. Okay, I think what we got so far is great. I want to get a couple more things, I think. Okay. What's a side of Hilarie that people who only know her from fighting wouldn't get to see, that maybe only you and her family gets to see?
A couple of things. Hilarie is very funny. She really is so funny, and a lot of the stuff that comes out of her mouth, she doesn't realize how funny she is. And she's also really sensitive. Like, she'll cry in a heartbeat. A commercial comes on and it touches her heart and she'll start crying. So she's very sensitive about certain things. I think sometimes when you think of a fighter, you think, somebody's really tough, and that's how they are on the inside as well. And she's nothing like that. She's very sweet and compassionate and loving. And, I think there was one of the fights she had, I forget which one, but there was a girl who had fought Ashley, and Ashley had beat the girl. And the girl had said that she was going to quit. She wasn't going to, do MMA anymore. And Hilarie was coaching Ashley, and she went over to the girl and said, "You did wonderful. Don't quit. This is, you're going to feel down for a little bit, but you're going to be fine." And she ended up fighting this girl in a professional fight. And the girl actually said, when being interviewed, she said, "I wouldn't have been here if Hilarie hadn't come over and talked to me and encouraged me to stay in fighting." And she said, "And here I am fighting against Hilarie." So, I think that was just so compassionate of her, going over and seeing the girl crying and saying she's going to quit. Her teammate had just won, but she still felt that need to make the girl feel good. And I wish I could remember her name. I can't remember her name.
That's okay. Hilarie, she can probably give me that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get footage from that too. That would be amazing. That's a great story about
Yeah.
Hilarie. But yeah, it's really that's what people, I feel like, don't understand about fighting. It's not about hurting somebody else or being super tough or whatever. It's more about working on yourself and just improving yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's all strategy too.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have to, there's skill in it. I think the best fighters are the ones that never get hurt because they know what they're doing and they get out of the way.
Right. What do you think it is about fighting that drew Hilarie to it?
That's a good question. I think just that competitiveness I think she wants to be the best she can be in anything that she does. She was, like I said, she was a great soccer player. She has a beautiful voice. She could have, who knows, she could have gone, she tried out for American Idol. And I think it's just she found something that she's got real passion for, and that if with that passion she wants to make sure she does the best that she can and becomes the best she can be.
Perfect. Great. What do you tell Hilarie before a fight? What are the moments like fight day?
She doesn't want to see anybody fight day. She gets focused. She doesn't want to see anybody. So when I do get to see her before, or I'll text her and say, yeah, I love you so much, you're going to kill it, and I'm very proud of you, and, just, I'll see you after the fight.
Do you have any other funny or inspiring stories about her from like little anecdotes like you had about her going over to Ashley's opponent?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other stories like that, like maybe a funny one that you can think of that relates to her fighting, or even if it's not related to her fighting?
Well, she's always, she kind of started some fundraising stuff through the gym at Thanksgiving, getting meals together for the needy for Thanksgiving. That was, something that she did. Funny anecdotes, though. I'm sure once I stop talking to you,
I know.
to me.
But I feel like we did get these from when she was a kid, when she said to the neighbor, "Why don't you have any kids?" Or, "You're in my mom's desk." That's all great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was who, even when she was like 18 months old, she had a cast on. She fell, or I forget what happened. She had a cast on, and she was so cute. She was walking around and limping around. And I said, "Hilarie, I want to take your picture." "No." And then she walks around. She's hiding behind things, so I wouldn't take her pictures. Just very adamant. Another time, somebody said to her when she was little, "You look like your mom." And she again, the hands on the hips. She said, "I don't look like anybody. I look like me." Just with that same kind of, cocky little attitude. She just was, she'll tell you she doesn't have any confidence. But I've watched her and I see the confidence, when she's being interviewed, when she does the commentary at the fights. She does a fabulous job. She's got a lot of confidence in herself that she's just not aware of. She's got a whole lot going for her, and she needs to realize that more.
Great.
I could tell you a funny story when we were in Paris, but I'm not going to do that. We've traveled. I've taken the girls. They've been everywhere. They've been to Japan. They've been to all over Europe, Hawaii, Australia. When I want to spend money, I spend it on traveling. And I truly believe the girls are better adults because of traveling, because they've seen the world, they've seen other cultures, they see how other people live, and it's the best education you can give anyone. One of the things Hilarie liked to do when we would be traveling is she would always go to the bathrooms. I don't know why, she always had to see what the bathrooms looked like. And I was going to take pictures and start a coffee table book of bathrooms around the world, because Hilarie would go into every single bathroom and just check them out. I have no idea why.
Oh, that's interesting. I think we got everything. I'm just wondering if maybe I can go over something again. Okay, let's go with. What are your hopes for Hilarie's future? Fighting or not fighting?
Well, at some point, like any athlete, she's got to retire. You know, the younger people are coming up, and it will change for her. So at some point, whenever she makes that decision on when it's time for her to stop fighting, then I think she would be a fabulous school teacher, but I don't know if she wants to do that. Just the way she is with the kids, I think she would be very effective as a school teacher. I think she would like to maybe own her own little studio, you know, yoga, maybe doing MMA, really taking what her skills are and teaching other people. So whatever she does, she'll do a great job at it. You know, she'll be focused and she'll figure it all out. I think she just needs to decide when it's time for her to stop fighting, and then she can go from there. I'll be there to help her out if she needs me, and see what she decides.
Great. Okay, I'm just gonna ask you one more. It's gonna be kind of like a repetitive one, but the more I have, the better. So, what do you think it is about Hilarie's personality? Like, what is it about Hilarie that makes her such a great fighter?
Her focus.
Sorry, can you just repeat my
sure.
question a little bit and the
Okay.
answer too?
I think what makes Hilarie a great fighter is that she is focused on what she's doing. I think her passion for what she does. I don't think you can do anything if you don't have passion for it, and she definitely has passion for that. She wants to be the best she can be, and she's driven to do that. And she's competitive, and she wants to win.
Great. I think we're good.
Okay.
Is there anything that you feel like we missed or that you would want to add?
Not really, just how important the gym is to her, that she considers them her second family, everybody there, how supportive they have always been, how much love they've given her. You know, doesn't just go there as someone that works there. They really all love each other and take care of each other. And I think that's so nice to have that kind of community, whether it's a church or a gym or whatever, to have that group of people and that support is wonderful.
Great. Yeah, that is a good thing to add in there. Can I just have you say at the beginning, like just something to start that section, something specifically that mentions USMMA, just something like her gym is her home, like Tom's her second dad, like just like a quick sentence to let people know that you're talking about her gym that she goes to.
Okay. So USMMA, Tom, who I just adore, and so does she, is her second family from here, and all of the people there she loves dearly and would do anything for, and I know she would do anything for them as well. And she's very, very lucky to have a group of people like that.
Perfect. Okay, I think we're good to go.
All right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was amazing. That was beautiful. Okay, so just, if you can go into that again, how
should I start that?
you could start off, would you be okay with saying, when Hilarie was young, growing up, it was just me and the girls. Could you start off that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now?
Yeah, whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
So when Hilarie was growing up, it was me and her two sisters. And I worked full time, took care of the kids. They were all involved in sports, took care of the house. So I think Hilarie saw a woman who could take care of herself, take care of them, and took that in as a strength and independence. I always told the girls that it's don't ever depend on anybody else, just depend on yourself. And if you have someone else going along with you, that's great, but always know that you can take care of yourself. And I think maybe that's some of the resilience that Hilarie has, and some of that inner strength that she brings to fighting.
Perfect. Perfect.